This is the solution for homework 4, and I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, and this is actually my second try at this because first try something happened to the recording, and so it's a little frustrating, but anyway. So I'm using a tool online, and this is a free tool that's actually pretty useful. It's called SQL Fiddle. It's sqlfiddle.com. In here, I've already kind of started here. I typed in my create table statements and my insert statements, which was the first part of this homework. Hopefully these are pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go through and type all this in again because it took me a while to do it the first time and I thought it was recording and it wasn't. Anyway, but you basically type all this in, both your create table and your insert statements, and then you click build schema. And what it does is it creates the actual database structure. The nice thing about this is it's all online, and I'm just using a web browser, and so I don't actually have to be using MySQL to do this. Now, in your previous homework, you really did have to use MySQL because the database that we were using was so big that it wouldn't really work using this tool. So there are limitations. It will not allow, just a whole lot of data or a whole lot of tables. But if you just want to test some things on a few tables, this is actually a pretty useful tool. Okay, so I'm just going to start with number 4 because I've, 1, 2, and 3, or sorry, 1 and 2. I'm going to start with number 3. 1 and 2 have already been done with my create table and my insert statements, and you can see them here. Okay. All right, so number 3 says write the query that will generate a combined list of customers from tables customer and customer 2 that do not include duplicate customer records. So this is basically using the union function. So select, I'm going to say cust underscore L name, cust underscore F name from customer union select cust underscore L name. Now these need to match exactly. Cust underscore F name from customer 2. Now that's something with a union is your field names have to match exactly or it's not going to work. Okay, and you see that it did work. Juan Ortega is not listed twice, and he appears in both tables, so it got rid of my duplicates. So that's exactly what I wanted. Go on to number 4, and this time I actually do want my duplicates. So all I do is add a keyword to this union statement and call it union all. I'll run the SQL. And this time Juan Ortega has shown up twice. So there he is once, here he is again. So it's getting my duplicates, and that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, number 5 says write the query that will show only the duplicate records. So that's actually pretty easy. I'm going to say select cust name, cust last name from customer, and here I'm going to say where, and then I'm going to use parentheses because I'm going to use both cust L name, comma, cust F name, and I'm going to use the in keyword, in. And I'm going to leave this query but put it in parentheses. Select cust L name, cust F name from customer 2. I'm going to run that, so it's basically just running, using the in clause and a subquery here. So this is considered a subquery. Now, in the examples in the book, I think you've only seen one field name used here, but you could actually use multiple field names and just separate them by commas. The subquery has to have those exact same field names, though. But that's pretty useful. And actually, that makes the next the next query pretty easy too. It says I want the query that will generate only the records that are unique to customer 2. So I'm going to change this to customer 2, and I'm going to say where cust fname and cust last name are not in, select that from customer. And that gives me everything that's in customer 2 that is not in customer. And should be everybody except for Juan Ortega, and it works perfectly. Okay, number 7. Write the query to show the invoice number, customer name, invoice date, and invoice amount for all customers with a customer balance of $1,000 or more. I'm going to leave those 2 field names because I think I'm going to need them. So select invoice number. Customer.cust_num. I'm going to join these 2 tables on customer number, so I need to specify which table I want to get that from. Customer name, so I've got my last name and first name, comma, invoice date, invoice amount. From invoice, enter join customer on invoice cust one equals customer cust. I've written join so many times I almost don't think about it, but that is the correct syntax there. Now I'm going to do my where clause, where cust underscore balance is greater than or equal to 1,000. And run it. And if I look at my insert statements, Juan Ortega's balance is less than 1,000, so he shouldn't show up. Gene Smith's balance is greater than 1,000, so she should show up. And if we see in my results down here, that's exactly what's going on. Gene Smith's records show up. Juan Ortega's do not. Okay. Cool. All right, number 8. I can tell in number 8 that I'm going to want a subquery because it tells me I want some stuff from the invoice table, but then it also says I want the average of all of my invoices. Now, the only way to get the average of all of my invoices is to say select average of the invoice amount as average amount from invoice. So that's my subquery, and I want the average of all my invoices. But again, it's just a subquery, so I'm going to stick that down at the bottom, and I'm going to start writing my actual query. My actual query is select invoice number, invoice amount, average invoice amount, and I call that average amount in my subquery there, and I'll show you how to get that to work correctly. And then the difference between the average and the actual invoice amount. So say invoice amount minus average amount as difference. That looks good. From invoice, comma, and then this is basically going to act as a second table. So I've got my select statement, put it in parentheses, and then given an alias AI, average amount. And that should do it. Let's run it. Okay. So I've got all my invoices, all my invoice amounts. My average should be the same for every one. And then my difference should be the difference between the actual and the average. And that's it for number 8.